Hello everyone, Moscow American back here, once again down near Moscow City, where there's always construction, never-ending skyscrapers, and plenty of noise that's probably making it hard to hear this video now that I think of it. Anyway, do love taking walks down here though when I get done with my little bit of work in the mornings when I come down here. Everyone's beloved Ursula von der Leyen was giving a speech just recently. I feel like I should just start breaking up my videos as sort of like 1984 watch or something, to start titling my videos like the 1984 segment or something. So she was saying that it's so problematic in our era of disinformation that they have to spend so much time debunking all these false narratives and opinions and facts that come in that are against the true official EU narrative, right? And so, but debunking is inefficient, so we need to start pre-bunking, because studies show that if you teach people ahead of time the correct knowledge and narrative, when they're then confronted by fake news and fake narratives that are incorrect, they're less likely to fall for them. So we, instead of debunking, need to be more efficient and start focusing more on pre-bunking. Poor woman was just so oblivious to the fact that it just sounded a lot like this other term we used to use for dictatorships and all. What was that? Oh yeah, propaganda. That one. Yeah. Just so oblivious. I feel like being a high-ranking EU official, like being dense and oblivious while rattling off like empty sentences about democracy, just must be part of the job description. It's gotta be part of like the application process. I mean, there is no other way at this point. Anyway, she was very pleased with herself, very passionate on the topic. Keeping with my 1984 theme, the law in the EU, it's Chat Control 2, I think is what it was called. Yeah, they're looking at pushing forward with that in the coming future. It's this law that basically, once again, wait for it, this is gonna shock everyone. It's to protect the children. I feel like, what's that little meme or something they always drop from the Simpsons or whatever it was? You know, won't someone please think of the children? Well, here we go again. So anyway, this law would require or allow for all your devices and all to read all of your messages, so emails, chat messages, everything, before they can be encrypted. So basically it's a way to try and get around end-to-end encryption, which has been a pain in the tush for places trying to spy on people's personal messages, because the end-to-end encryption, you know, can be hard for governments to get in and look at. Well, this would basically allow for all the devices to read your messages before they get sent by law in the EU, because you've got to be on the lookout for child abuse, because I absolutely believe that's what it's all about, right? That's definitely what it's all about. This 1984 bill to allow complete scanning of all personal emails, messages, anything like that. They'll then, of course, be scanned against any illegal activity. No. There's nothing nefarious, nothing connected with control. It is just for the children. That is all it's ever going to be, right? That's all it's ever been. Man. So many people buy in this kind of stuff. I have such great careers as a con man. I really need to change careers. There's so many people that'll buy almost anything now. Alright. So yeah, that one's being debated, discussed, as going through in the EU. This requirement to start having all these messaging systems and all, check your phone, check the messages before they're encrypted, run them through the government algorithms to look at them, identify, who knows, maybe extremist content too. You know, and of course any of that can be anything, right? We're protect the children. You can label just about anything as extremist, right? Anything you don't like. Yeah, no way any of this is gonna go wrong. In more tragic news, just got word that Israel made an airstrike that hit a tent full of journalists, including one pretty prominent one from Al Jazeera. And at this point, they're not even really trying. They're just basically bragging. It's like, oh yeah, they were terrorists. It's like, long-time journalists, whatever. This like reminds me of that time when Ben and Jerry's had this something, they were supporting Palestine, and so people from supporting Israel were claiming that Ben and Jerry's were terrorists or something like that. It was, I can't remember exactly how that was. It was a couple of years ago, but it got kind of surreal, right? We're at this point where don't support the narrative, anyone's a terrorist, right? Your grandma didn't like her trip to Israel, terrorist, lock her up. So anyway, I want to say it was like 7 people killed. This tent was right outside the hospital as well. Apparently they waited till the evening when everything calmed down and then hit it when all the journalists were gathered together. At the same time, apparently Netanyahu's been making statements claiming he's going to sue the New York Times because they put out these fake pictures, right, from Gaza trying to show the starvation, and this child in this picture had cerebral palsy, pre-existing condition. It's like, so it doesn't count. Apparently, if you murder somebody and they have a pre-existing condition, that also doesn't count, right? You know, you have cerebral palsy, but you know, starving to death still didn't have anything to do with making it worse or killing you, right? And I hate to break this to him, but it doesn't also necessarily make you look like you're starving to death. That's kind of its own thing. That can be added on top, right? Just because you had a pre-existing condition isn't a defense to murder somebody. Hate to break it to him. Hate to break it to him. There was this story I remember they were running on Breitbart not too long ago. It was like just trying to prove that all the journalism was fake because this one picture, they're comparing like this picture that made the headlines that kind of showed these women and children looking they're starving, trying to run and get food, then comparing to another picture and saying, see, there's actually a lot more men in the picture. That was a misrepresented picture. And it's just like, but if you looked at it, it was like, well, yeah, the original one also kind of showed that. Like, the level of nitpicking you have to do to be like, it doesn't perfectly represent the exact average demographic to not count. It's like, there were actually a bit more like representation of men at these points picking stuff up. So the fact that it shows too many women and children, or disproportionate number of women and children in the picture he chose to put out there means it's not valid. Even though those women and children were there. Even though the hunger was real. I was just like, what world are we living in? Even if it's mostly men. People are getting shot at these distribution centers. Men are going to risk their lives to pick up the food to bring back to the women and children. It's more a testament to how bad it is that there's any women and children going to this. That's how hungry they are. That's how bad it's getting. Oh man, this sort of weird, surreal, justified genocide thing is just kind of getting out of control. Anyway, I gotta get to my next work location. I got a little bit of a hike in front of me, so I'm gonna sign off today. Y'all have a good one.